Get going. This is being recorded, so if any of your friends have missed this that were interested, it will be on the New Canaan Library website. I will be if they have registered, I will be sending the recording plus these handouts that I've told you about to everyone. So all those who are registered will get all this information. And so I'm going to start with a book that I recently read, and also had the author here, but wasn't able to get a recording because we were in the gallery and we don't have a recording device there. But anyway, it's called Lucky Turtle, and his name is Bill Rohrbach. And Bill Rohrbach grew up in New Canaan, graduated from the New Canaan High School, and they had their reunion maybe 2 weekends ago. And his book came out middle to end of spring, and his agent got a hold of me and said, would you please host him at the library? His reunion class will be there. And we did. We had like 22 people. It was wonderful. And he wants to talk about Lucky Turtle, his newest book. Now, Bill Rohrbach is not a well-known name in the he's not a household name, shall I say, as a writer. But I looked into his background. He has Kirkus Awards. He has, Penn Awards. He has all these wonderful, smaller print kind of awards for just great storytelling. I also teach the writing classes here at New Canaan Library, and he has a writing book, writing about your life, or writing the stories of your life. And I've used it a number of times. He's a great teacher as well. Anyway, I mean, in his book, he's just great. So I was so happy to read this and fell madly in love with it. This is sort of like Where the Crawdads Sing.
Okay.
I would say it's not as much a page turner kind of book, but it is the same kind of a story about a young girl just has a bad family. It just is what happens. And her bad family makes her drop out of school and do all these things that then she's sent off to reform school. She is from Massachusetts, but her family, or the courts, send her to Montana to a reform school, which turns out to be very, very religious, right, but also very strict. And she meets with one of the facilities guys who works there, who is also someone who is Native American, that is also been kind of maligned by society. And so they meet, they fall in love, and they run away. So this is where they run away, and it's in Montana, and they're in the buttes of Montana, forging a life, trying to, get just eat and have shelter. And so that's where it sort of is like, and it's just like Crawdads. You have this, in Crawdads, the main character, both her parents, one is a terrible father and the other is a mother that walks away, and she's left in the marshes. Here they run away to the desert buttes, and it's a beautiful story. But then, of course, somebody has found them, and what to do. Is this state land? Is this private land that they are homesteading on? I'm not going to tell you more, but it's again just two people just trying to just live their life. They're good people that have just had bad circumstances. It's a very nice story, and in the end, it's surprising what happens in the end. So I highly recommend this. It's one of those kinds of books that it takes you to a place that you want to go back to every night when you get home from work. I want to go back to those Montana buttes and see how they're doing. It's that kind of a book. So I highly recommend that. The next book I have is Jamie Ford's newest book, The Many Daughters of A Fong Moy. I'm in the middle of reading this, but immediately I am captivated by, it's a historical fiction piece. And Jamie Ford, he wrote The Hotel Between Bitter and Sweet about 10, 12 years ago, and it was National Book Award winning. And again, another beautiful story, well written, about a Chinese immigrant in, I believe it's early 1900s. And her family, a very traditional Chinese family, had their daughter's feet bound, and yet she couldn't find someone to marry her. And so she was then someone they did not want to feed, not want to take care of. So they put her on a ship to go to America. And in America, there was, a large Chinese population. But because of her bound feet, a circus saw her and they would pay her to be part of the sideshow, sort of part of the freak show. And every time there was an audience, she was to reveal her feet and take the bindings off and show what happened to her feet, and then put the bindings back on. So that's sort of the premise of where I am at. And she has a long lost love that is back in China, and she she dreams about him, she thinks about him. So it's this, but you are captured in her plight as she's getting paid. She's sort of thinking, okay, this is the best that's going to happen for me. But she is so rich in all of her other attributes. She's funny, she's sweet, she cooks, there's so much she can do, but she is a sideshow. And anyway, this is another book that you're in the moment with her. It's beautifully written by Jamie Ford. Another great historical fiction piece by him. And other people that have read it have just said it just gets more and more beautiful. It goes on. So I highly recommend this. And I do believe, I have a feeling Jamie Ford will be coming to the library in the spring. I think that is happening. So another reason to read it. Okay, the next book I have not read, but I'm intrigued by it. It's called The Mosquito Bowl. This is nonfiction, and it's by Buzz Bissinger. Buzz Bissinger wrote Friday Night Lights, which was the very, very popular book, and then it became a TV series about football in the South. People, I don't know how many seasons it was, but it was big award winner. This is his next book, The Mosquito Bowl, which is based on a true story. And it is a true story about the men who were stationed in Okinawa. And they were this is a World War II story. So for anybody who loves World War II stories, this is the big one that's coming out. And it's about the men who are stationed in Okinawa, and they're training for the whatever is the next assault in the Pacific. And there's a lull so they're still training, and they realize, they're bored, they need to keep themselves active with something to do, but they're on a fairly small island and there's just so much that they can do. And they realize that there's a number of men that are in the battalions that are all from football teams. And some of them, were the quarterbacks to, Penn State or, these really Big Ten. And so they dream up this idea of, well, gee, whenever is the next battle, we don't know, but hey, let's do a big football tournament. And so they all pair off in teams and they have a big football tournament called the Mosquito Bowl, because I guess the island is loaded with mosquitoes. And then so it's one of these heartwarming, amazing stories about people, about the tenacity of training, but then also the creativity to keep your mind not getting scrambled from what's ahead of you. You get to know the characters, and it's just a really good, how did the boys take care of themselves and take care of each other when they're having to go off to war. And then it does end up with the battles and who made it, who didn't. And you really do you find out who of those great, football guys, how they did, and some that didn't make it. Anyway, so I think this is I think men would love this book, but I think also it's a lot of heart that I think anyone would really, really love to read this book. So Mosquito Bowl, there's that one. I wanted to let you know about that one. And then the last one is one I know I already told you about, but because it's October and it is the Halloween season, I wanted to let you know about, remind you about Made in China. And why is Made in China important around Halloween is because Made in China is about the SOS letters that people would find in the Halloween decorations that they would buy from Party City. SOS letters that were coming from people in the work camps of China who were in the toxic factories, putting the dyes on orange pumpkins and creating the plastic spiders and all that sort of thing. A woman I believe it was Seattle, she was opening up a Halloween decoration and out fell an SOS letter. And she read it and it said, help us. We are being tortured. We are working in toxic areas. Please help us. And she was first startled and thought maybe this is a joke, but she was sure it came out of the packaging, and it made her start thinking, what is going on? Because there on the packaging says Made in China, and she knows there's all the work camps, the Uyghurs, and all this section of China that is, there's been a lot of questioning, a lot of human rights issues that our government has questioning about, to China. And so I can't remember, she got a hold of, this woman, Amelia Pang, is an investigative reporter. And she started to hear about all these people, these SOS notes. And the SOS notes there were hundreds of them. And so she decided to, I'm just muting people so that there we go. She decided she was going to investigate, and she went to the person in Seattle who had brought it to the attention of the news authorities. She went to the person in Seattle and she took that note, and it had his name, and I've forgotten his name. It's in the book. I've forgotten his name. And she tracked him down. She went to China. She became a businessman or part of a business league that was wanting to wanting to have, oh gee, I need more pumpkins made for my next Halloween, and how do I, and she would go to these factories, she'd go to these entire communities, and she'd see these people, and she met the man, and she got his story. And that's what this is about, Made in China. It's going to shock you. It's going to make you buy differently. You are not going to buy cheap goods necessarily, because it's on the backs of a lot of people that are, just not being treated well, all for the bottom line, the dollar. It's a sobering book, very well written, very caring, and it's surprising what happens to this young man who is married, taken away from his family. So it's an amazing story. I bring this one up to your attention because it is Halloween time. This all started around Halloween, but also this is, we did have Amelia Pang over Zoom, so there is a recording of her. If you do this book for your book group, this is a great compendium with actually Amelia Pang answering a lot of questions about her book. And you can have a viewing of that. It's right on our YouTube channel. So it's a good book. It's wonderful. The other two, I just am going to point out, sorry, I put them too far away for me to reach, but here we go. Two other books that if you want to have any kind of a book talk with your group, but then also want to, we have authors that come to the library and we have recordings of them. One of them is Amy Bloom. She's written a book called In Love, a memoir of love and loss, where her husband is a Alzheimer's victim, and he chooses to die. And America doesn't have the kind of it's just the rules are too difficult. And they went to Switzerland, but they explain why. And they also explain, well, if they're not, how are they going to do it themselves? You know, it's not a super heavy book. Amy Bloom is a writer that she's just straight from the hip. And she also is funny. There's very funny things about her, how she was researching poisons and how she was going to administer poisons. It's a funny little take on, she goes, this is ridiculous. Why am I having to do this now? Oh my. And I mean, I'm not saying laugh out loud funny, but it's just like, my goodness, what a predicament she's in. And she presents it in a light way that it makes the book readable. It's not a downer at all. And he is the driving force to his reasons why. And it's inspiring, an inspiring book. Anyway, we had her here at the library. We have a recording of it. So you can have not only your book talk, but you can also hear what she says about this book. And then the last one, quite a few years, right at the beginning of the pandemic, I had Robert Kolker here. And he was actually talking with Dr. Grout, who is of Silver Hill, about Hidden Valley Road. Hidden Valley Road is this true story about a family in the 1950s and 60s, 12 children, 6 of them were schizophrenic. How did they manage family life? The NIH found out about this family and started to do the study, and with other families where they had a hunch that schizophrenia runs in families. This family, and they were in Colorado, gave themselves to this study. And Robert Kolker, who is one of the most sensitive writers, writes this incredible family history with so much care, so much understanding, that this isn't sensational at all. It's really understanding what families go through, mental illness, and the history of what mental illness learned along the way. And this family that gave themselves to the NIH to be studied, they have done our entire community, our entire world a service, because there is so much more understanding about schizophrenia, but it is their story and it's amazing. And Robert Kolker talks about this book with Silver Hill, Dr. Groat from Silver Hill. Very insightful discussion that they had. So I wanted to let your groups know that we do have some of these authors speaking to us, and you can make this a really a stronger sort of meeting. So the next thing I want to talk about, does anyone have any questions? I mean, please, let's see, I've muted you all, so you have to unmute. So if you'd like to, so the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that we are closing. Because of the new library, we know that we have to close for an amount of time. We're not sure about when it's going to be in December, but it's going to be the month of December that we will close sometime in December. We will definitely let everyone know what that date will be. And then we will be closed through January, and then opening up. The construction team says to us, we will be in and ready to go February 2023. So we're holding on to that. But when in February 2023, they're not telling us that either. I can't say that, give you a date either, but I know, but sometime in December and sometime in February, we will be closed. So I wanted to give you all just a warning about that. And so how are you going to, you will not be able to pick up books while we're closed. We will not be doing a curbside, because a lot of our systems are going to be sort of changed a little bit as well. But I do believe there will be you can like bring books back. But what we're thinking for book groups is that we're going to just literally front load you with your book choices of from December and January and even into February. When we find out what those books are, we are going to be we're going to make piles of them that you can pick up before we shut down in December. So that's why when I say we're going to front load book groups. And then we can also help people front load. If you're not in a group, but you just want to have a number of books, we can also help you with that. But for book groups, this is how we're going to handle all of your book group needs. So please fill out the book group request form for December, January, and February. So we have that information. We need that information by November 10th. So that gives us time to retrieve the books from those who have taken the books out, and then we can start creating the piles. It might be later than probably November 15, but that'll give us time. And then hopefully we'll have all the books ready for people to come pick up of your book groups. And we will then have those ready by the end of November, so that from November till the end, to whatever day we close, we'll be able to hand those books out to people. Does that make sense to everyone? If I've not communicated that clearly, please let me know, right now, and I'll try and get that clearer to everyone. Can everyone see this? Please give me a thumbs up. I don't see you right now because
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so what you're looking at is the new Canaan Library website. And this is the website right now. We are creating a new website, but right now this is going to help you. I'm not sure when the switchover. I think the switchover will be happening closer to February when we switch to a new website. But in the meantime, this is our website, and I wanted to show you ways to look for book group books. So if in the search bar, I'm just going to type in book group collection. I put that in there, and then I hit find it. It takes some time, and there they all are. These are all the book group books that we have in the library. But what you see right at the top, this is a children's one. If you want children's book group books, you're fine with this page. But if you only want the adult that are in the main library for adults, over here in this refine by, you're going to go down and you'll see main library. When you click on the main library, you will get just the ones that are mainly for adults. There will be some book groups, book group books for YA, because YA is in the main library. But here we are with all these book group choices. And so you see, if you go all the way down to the bottom, we have more than 3 pages. So I told you that, this would be a book a book group, a book chat about all the new books that we have just purchased for book groups. And so the way that to see that is right down here where it says publish date. And you can monkey around with this and change it any way you want. But for the purposes of right here, to just talk about the brand new books, I'm going to put in the date 2021 to 2022. And I'm going to apply that to, and it's going to change a little bit. There, we've got loading it all. So you'll see right here, we have 2022, we have 2021, we have another 2022, 2000. So this is how you can see what the most recent books are that we have put into the library's collection, book group collection. These are all book group collections. And so here for, say, One Italian Summer, you'll also see it says +5 more. You'll see all and click on that, and another box opens and it shows you how many books we have. You see that they are available, but also you can click on show remaining and it will show you all of the books that we have. Some of them are in second look, some of them are in book group, some of them are upstairs in fiction. All of these are available. So if your book group is wanting to find a book quickly during our, that you need, this is possibly a good book to choose because they're all available right now. So I just wanted you to see how you can see all the brand new books that have been recently purchased. What's going out a lot is French Braid, Christie Affair, Marriage Portrait. Let's see, Horse. Oh my goodness, Horse. Okay, let's do the see all to that right now. I'm going to do see all, loading. Oh, see, those are all out. Show remaining, and yeah, everything is out. Do on hold. So it gives you a lot of great information about the book groups. Then you come all the way down to the bottom and you see, oh, there's a whole nother page. You can click on that. And here's more. Here are more. And Bookwoman's Daughter. Whoops, I don't know why that's there. So this is how you can choose. Here's Kate Atkinson that just came out. So we have some of those. We don't have Elizabeth Strout's. I mean, we have it in our regular collection, but not in book group yet. But she has a new book. That took me by surprise. I had no idea, but she does. So here are the book group collection where we have 6 copies. We definitely have 6 copies for book groups to use. When we do move into the new library, we are going to have new book group kind of rules in a sense, or new, I don't know if it's going to be policies. I think we're still going to operate the same way, except that we are going to be offering more, more recent titles. It used to be we had to wait 6 months before we could really ask for the books to come over from the regular circulation to be put into book group. Now we're going to buy 6 books exclusively for book group, so that some of those really popular just published titles would be available to our book group. So that's what's coming in the new library, and it will be 6 books. That's what we will be able to purchase for book group. So here is page 2, and these are all brand new books. Violent Conspiracy. Oh, Fellowship Point. That's another top hot book. Jackie and Me, a really sweet historical fictionalized story about Jacqueline Onassis as she left Newport and became an editor in New York City. It's a cute little story. And then we can go on to page 3, Chancellor. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of books here. Oh, The Anomaly. That's an amazing book. Difficult it's a very close read, very, very, very close read. If you're really into wanting to pay attention to a book and its story, and that's a really very interesting book. And so that's pretty much it. Page 3 seems to be it for all the 20 to 21, 21 to 222, 2022 books. But you can have fun with this. If you want to do book group books that are, say, 2000, 2001, and what were those books? If they're in our collection, book group collection, I'm applying it. So here we are. Here's 2001, The Great Bridge, Life of Pi, White Teeth, Paris to the Moon, Heart of the Sea, Secret Life of Bees. So, you know, you can have fun with kind of doing period pieces or finding out what people had read in the past and that were really great book group books. We have that right there at your disposal. And then, you know, of this, you could also just put in just fiction, do the whole thing all over again. You'll go down to the main library and, oh, well, here it is, the writing of fiction. If you want to learn how to write, that's certainly my game. If you're interested, I teach the classes, would love to see you there. But anyway, this is just a way you can have fun with information. Since we'll be closed down, you know, how you can sort of get new ideas for book group and the like. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about that? You know, I'm sorry to say we will be getting a new website. So what you just saw is going to change, but the new website is going to be so much more streamlined and very, very, very simple. So anyway, when we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I'll train you all on that when that happens. Okay, so the last thing I want to just show you is while we're shut down, or even when the new library does open for book groups, these are some things that to know what will happen in the new library. We will have library sponsored book groups, and these will be in-house. I don't believe that Zoom will be used anymore, since we will be having meeting spaces that we can, you know, accommodate, you know, large amounts of people. We will also have parking that will be much easier than what we have right now. So the World History and Cultural Events book group, they'll still be meeting the second Wednesday of every month, 7 to 8 p.m. I don't know the name of the room. It's right now they meet in the Plout room, but there will be a room that they meet in the new library. The Can't Sleep Thrillers, which is Julia Ray's group. It's a wait list only right now. There are 25 people, but you can certainly, if you're interested, you know, just call us, let us know you want to be put on the wait list. That happens on the first Wednesday of every month, 7 to 8 p.m. Kathy Blantz and I are going to start a brand new book group. It's going to be Beyond the Bestsellers. It's going to be the first Thursday of the month. And excuse me, it's going to be every other month. I should put this in here, every other month. I'll make that distinction. So every other month we'll be reading Beyond the Bestsellers. What we don't know is whether people would rather meet 11 to noon or to meet 2 to 3 in the afternoon. And so when I send this out, and I probably will have it in, you know, check a box or something like that, and you can send it back to me. You know, we're just not sure when people are available for this type of a book group. So, and Beyond the Bestsellers is going to be just kind of I think like the New York Times has the noteworthy books, you know, it's just ones that are not quite on the radar, you know, sort of like, you know, Lucky Turtle by Bill Rohrbach. I mean, he's a winner, he's a winning author, but it just doesn't get the notoriety that some of these other books do get. So, so that's what we'll be highlighting, and that will start in the new building. And then the book chat, this book chat Thursday happens the second Thursday, 11 to 12 noon. And that'll be the second Thursday of every month. That will continue, and that will be in person. And I don't know if there will be availability to have it recorded. I don't know yet what technology is in all the rooms, but the book chat will be happening, and we probably will make it into, like, a little coffee time, have a little, coffee cake on the side, something like that. Maybe the timing might change. You might go to 10 o'clock to 11, but the book chat will be happening the second Thursday of every month. And then what I wanted to let book groups know is, because the library will have a lot of new meeting spaces, we're open to having private book groups use the library for their space. A lot of times the private book groups, they enjoy being at people's homes, but some book groups, they rather not do that. And so we already offer some book groups private viewing here. The non-parade group has been using the library, but now we are going to have a lot more space. And so we do have small intimate spaces for, 6 people, and then we have larger spaces for up to 35 people. Some book groups are that large. So that is something that we're willing to offer. It's just, you need to reserve those spaces, to put into our calendar. You have to reserve them. So, but it is what you can do. And then also the cafe, though that will not be reservable, but it's a great place for smaller groups to be in and enjoy. So, though I'm just letting book groups know about that. And then I just want to let you know, if you are having any trouble getting books, since we will be shut down and not necessarily able to give you any book while we're in the shutdown, I'm giving right here and I'll send this out to everyone. These are all the libraries in the region that can satisfy your book needs. Remember, your Connecticut library card from New Canaan is welcome in all Connecticut libraries. I believe it's a state law. And so if, say, Ridgefield has the book that you want, bring your New Canaan library card with you, and just say, I'd like to check out this book, and they will put you into their system using your New Canaan library card. And then you'll be able to check out that book. And it's just that they just now have a record of you having their book. They just want to know where their book is going, so that when they need to get it back, they can send you their email saying, 3 days and your book is due, and, all that sort of thing. So, so that is something a lot of people don't know, that their New Canaan library card can be used in other libraries in Connecticut. The one thing that your New Canaan card cannot use is another library's digital cloud. That's the only thing. You can't go to Stanford and use their Hoopla to download into your device. That can only be a New Canaan card can do that for you. Though we won't be able to give out books physically to you, you can download onto your device. So if you need any help with that before our shutdown, please let me know, and we'll be happy to walk you through how to use your devices during that. And then some of you had contacted me about wanting to start a new book group. So I went on to Book Browse, which is a wonderful organization that is all about books, and they've got a lot of information. If you need to know about a particular book title or whatever, you can go into bookbrowse.com. But these are their wonderful, discussions on how to start a book group, important things to think about when starting a book group, about group size, you know, are you going to have food? Are you not going to have food? A health checklist for book groups, you know, like, does everyone get to speak freely? Is it fair, the book choices? You know, there's like a checklist that you can bring to your book group and say, hey, how are we doing as a book group? How to be an effective book group leader. Competitiveness. I once belonged to a book group and I love all the women dearly, but it got to a point where we would be meeting over dinner time, and what we brought for dinner, everybody would bring a dish, you know, a portion of it, and who did better than what, and Laura has better recipes than so and so, and it got really strange and weird. And then other people, you go to their homes and, oh my gosh, the china came out, the silver and everything. It's just like, wait a minute, this is a little too much. When some of us, don't have china and don't have silver, and you come to a little, table or something. It's the competitiveness is something that can get tiresome. So anyway, it's ways to deal with that. And then, how to deal with troublesome book group members. So I made this little slide here, and I will send all this information. You can get right into any of these. You can, there's Book Browse right there. Why join a book group? It gives you a lot of really great information. So I just wanted to let everyone know about that. Okay, I've talked enough, and I want to know, what are people reading, or also if you have any questions. Certainly, with the closing of the library, maybe not now you have questions, but feel free to contact me or anyone at the library. Will be happy to let you know what's going on. Thanks so much. There was a lot of information, but thank you very much for attending, and I look forward to seeing everyone, hopefully in the new library at the new book chat, and we can talk. All right, everyone, take care.